It is Money Saving Monday, and with Black Friday coming up, a new survey shows many Americans planning to dial back their spending. Shoppers expect to spend about 4% less than last year, and that includes lower income families all the way to households making over $200,000. It comes as consumer confidence hits one of its lowest points on record, with more people worried about jobs, worried about inflation, and their own finances heading into the holidays. And that can cause a lot of stress. The holidays are supposed to be joyful, but for many of us, they're also the most stressful time of the year. So we got financial pressures that we're talking about. We got family dynamics and packed schedules, traveling, all of that. So joining us live this morning is licensed therapist Emma Thomas from the Cornerstone Healing Program with just some practical strategies to break down what we can do just to stay on top of our mental health, especially as a mom. You think of yourself last, because you're doing everything for everyone else. But what should we be doing to take care of ourselves so we can have a great holiday?
Yeah, I think just what you said there, right? As a parent, you feel the need to make the holiday such a special experience for your children, you're super mom, you're doing everything. And it's a time when stress is really, really, really high. We've got Christmas parties, we have pageants, we have different commitments we have to bring ourselves to, and that can be extremely overwhelming. During a time you're expected to be on top of the world.
Yes.
It might just not feel like that.
And you're supposed to have so much energy too to keep up with everything.
Yes.
So what are some practical things that I can do to really set myself up for success going into this month?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest things we really talk about at Cornerstone Healing Center is just how overwhelming this time can be and making that time for yourself.
Ooh.
Yes. Having the self-care is not selfish. That's one of my biggest things that I really, really want you to know is taking those times for yourself, putting a budget on Christmas as well. You don't need to go into debt over Christmas at all. Also, family commitments. No is a full sentence sometimes.
Yes, and I think that's so powerful. What do you mean by that exactly?
Yeah. Sometimes we just need to say no. Sometimes we don't have the bandwidth to meet up with those that expect so much from us. Additionally, we have I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm with my family, my inner teenager comes out.
You revert back
to
when you left home.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You have to follow traditions. You have to follow all of these things. And there's some really simple, practical things that you can do.
Okay.
Right? You can simply have it. I like to do an if-then, right? If this happens, then I'm going to do this. It's almost a mental script you prepare early. So if mom brings up something that you don't like to talk about, then I'm going to change the subject like this.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And kind of practicing that before you get to whatever it is, whether it's dinner or just time with family.
Yes.
You talked a little bit about making time for yourself. What can that actually look like, especially for people who only have a couple extra minutes to spare?
Yeah.
Is there breathing techniques that I can do? Is there meditation? What does that look like?
Absolutely. There's a ton of coping skills and skills like that. So one of my favorite ones is if you find yourself getting overwhelmed and say you just need to go sneak off to the bathroom or just outside, one of the easiest ones is you're smelling in the turkey dinner and you're blowing out the candles.
And how long do I want to hold it in? Isn't there a number thing?
Typically it's like a 4, 4, and 4. So you can do kind of a box breathing technique there. So
okay, tell me that a little bit.
Yeah, so what you're going to do is you're actually going to breathe in for 4. So, and when you get to the top, you're going to hold it for about 4.
Okay.
And then you're going to breathe out for 4. And you really want to blow when you breathe out.
Okay.
What you're doing there is you're actually regulating your nervous system and you're telling your body, I'm okay. Yeah. I can do this. I can keep going with this. And do that about 6 to 10 times, depending on how you're feeling.
Okay.
It's going to calm your heart rate down, which in turn kind of calms you down internally.
Oh gosh, I love that.
Very helpful. Another practical tip is sometimes take that moment for yourself and say, what is in my control and what is out of my control.
Yes.
You're taking that power back when you do that. You can literally say, I am only in control of how I show up. And me showing up here is an opportunity, not an expectation, right? Or an obligation.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. That if we reframe our mind like that, right, we approach things differently.
And it's so hard, though, to even have the sense to reframe your mind because you're really running on empty.
Yes.
There's so much going on. When do I know, I might need to get some help?
Yeah, that's a great question. one of the biggest things is when you find yourself having that increased irritability,
Yeah.
or maybe your sleep is going out the window,
Yes.
or you're not eating as much as you typically do, maybe you're having an increase in substance use even. Those can all be telltale signs that, okay, maybe I need a little bit of help, right? At Cornerstone Healing Center, we're here to help you as well. We can really help get you back into routine. We can help teach you assertive communication skills so that you can get your needs met while also dancing around every other dynamic that you have in your life.
Gosh, Emma, I love those ideas so much. And I am going to remember the 4-4-4 method. Okay.
So easy.
It's easy and it really does wonders, doesn't it? Okay, thank you so much for your time. And if people want to contact you, what's the best way?
Yeah, if you go on cornerstonehealingcenter.com,
Okay.
we've got all of our programs there. We have our admissions line, and we can help get you set up with a therapist, a program, whatever you need to fit your needs.
Fantastic. Emma, thank you so much for your time.